Last episode, we finished the Dragon Slayer quest. We prepped ourselves to go into Fell Hollow. Today, we're going to take a little break on progression and work on building an actual proper base, something that we can call home instead of living out of a little box. So, here are the stats that we left off with, and let's get into it. This asshole needs to get a fucking hobby. I can't tell you how many times I've had to put him down while I've been trying to prep for this. I'm gonna end up having to put up a bunch of oak palisades or something to block him off. But I've found that he can spawn either over here, back there, or up here. So there's really no way of preventing his spawn. So I'm just gonna have to end up blocking him out. But with that being said, I put together this foundation here. Um, in building bases, it's best to go with an odd number rather than an even number. That way you have a direct center. And with how I plan on building this base, it's going to be more of a compound rather than a specific one building base. So my idea of going into this is going to start off with building the storage area first. That way, they made a recent update where you can link all your chests. So anything that you choose to build, Jesus Christ, man. Anyway, when you go to build things, whether it be foundations or whatever, you can build it without having any items in your inventory. It just pulls all from chests. And the same goes for crafting in chests. Like if I was to have a crafting table here and I wanted to build a set of armor or whatever, it could pull directly from the chest rather than me having to have the actual resources on me. So it's a huge quality of life thing. And so what I plan on doing is having kind of all of my crafting stuff along the edges, the actual house building in the back with a centralized storage area here. So I want to build into this a little bit, with this being the direct center. I'm going to put up some stairs, maybe some 30 degrees stairs. Is this how I want to do it? Maybe we'll do 45s. That way we can have some aesthetically pleasing corners and kind of have like a grand entrance into the storage area. Just connect these up. Alright, there's that. And that. Okay, so there's the entrance. And now I'm going to do kind of like a hut type thing where it's going to be like chests on this side, stacked 3 high, and then on each side I'll do that the same. And then I'll find a way to properly organize everything so I know exactly where everything goes. So I'm just going to kind of plan out the foundation of that, and then I'll bring you back. So this is the start of what I've got. Now, you can probably kind of see what I mean by having the 4 sections of chests going 3 high, probably 3 by 3. So 9 chests on each side. That's going to give me plenty of storage going forward. I'm also going to put in some lighting to make this kind of aesthetically pleasing. I'm thinking maybe purple. Let's try this. I don't plan on the torches actually being visible. And then what we can do is we can put in some shelving using these quarter floors, or these smaller floors here. Or do I want quarters? Probably want quarters. Yeah. So we'll do that, and then probably this. So we'll have 3 levels of chests, and then I can even go the extra mile and separate them with the advanced snapping. That might work. think that looks pretty good. It goes all the way around, same thing on each side. And then I think the last thing I want to do is just add a roof to this. I will probably do 45 degree, but we'll see. Actually, I think the 30 might look better. That way it's not too tall. It looks more like a hut rather than... I don't want it to overshadow the actual house that's going to be behind it. I'm going to set the house up on stilts as well, so it can be visible from back here. But I think the rather than having just the single house and actually having a compound here is going to look a lot better. Let's do 30 degree, 60, 30. That one's not right. None of these are right. Yeah, I think that looks great. All right, now I'm going to get the chests in, and we'll actually have proper storage, and we can work on the rest of the crafting area. I'm probably going to expand these out on the side, at least not all the way up, but maybe out to where the storage is, just to give us more space to work and maybe even decorate, make it look nice. Taking a little break from this section here, I keep running out of iron, so I'll slowly fill in the rest of these chests as time goes on, but I also expanded out the sides like I said I was going to do, and I'm going to work on the forging section where we're going to do all of our smelting, and let's see what else am I going to need. The smelting, the kiln, and then I guess when we move into Fellhollow we'll have the tier 2 smelter as well. So I put together this little section here. Basically I'm going to make this the entrance. The forging section is going to be on the left here. I'll put some kilns over here. I want at least 2 of each, that way we can just be efficient with smelting, so I don't have to sit around and wait for things to smelt if I do a large farming run or whatever. So let's put the... So I kind of have 2 options. I can either butt these up here like this, and then I can use these quarter walls, or even I'll have to back these up. So if I do something like this, the materials, after they get smelted, they'll get spit out here. So if I wanted for efficient pickup, I can throw on the advanced snapping and do something like this. That way I can just fill these up, walk away, and then just walk right by to pick up all of the stuff that it smelts. There's that option, or we can go with... That guy better not attack me again, I swear to God. The traditional, just kind of tuck them in the back and line them up, but I just don't think it looks necessarily as good. But if we do this, then we have to utilize the back space a little bit, so I'm not sure exactly what I want to do, but I'm going to play around with it. Decided to go with something like this. I made the walls a little bit bigger, and then the kiln's going to sit here, and I'm just going to mirror this with the next tier of smelters on the other side. So there's going to be another kiln here. And then I think on the roof, I'm just going to do a slanted roof, kind of like a shack type deal. with a couple of 45s, and I think on top of that I want to wall this section off and maybe do some pillars up, and I think that'll look really nice. So let's start with the roof. Try not to get attacked by that demon. .45s, okay. I think with a little bit of overhang on the back will look nice. And then I think we'll switch up the angle, or else it's going to look a little too aggressive. So we can do 30s from here. And then I think I'll do flats, and then I'll just meet the roof with these beams here. Almost going to have a barn look to it, I guess, but we'll see if it... Oh, I don't like that. I guess there's no roof flats, is there? We'll have to live with the ceilings for now. And I'm even going to use the advanced snapping to do a bit of overhang here as well, too. I'm going to play around with this. So I like the general idea of what I'm working with here, but this roof is just far too tall for what we're working with under here. I don't need all this extra empty space. It's just going to look weird. So I'm going to shorten the roof, but maintain the angle, I think. And then I think it'll start to look a little bit better. Alright, so I worked it out. I moved this back one tile, so it's now 2 wide instead of 3. I think it was just using too much space and requiring the roof to go too tall. It was just looking awkward. I also moved these walls down, and since we kind of removed that extra space, I didn't have room to put a kiln here without, without it being exposed to the sky. So I'm just going to have the one in the center here, and then I'll mirror that on the other side with the other forges. Then I think next I will move into either doing the cooking and potion making, or maybe build a tower or two just to see how it looks.
it's the same old fight. Trapped inside a box trying to find the light. They build the walls up high, I say to stay in line, but inside this static there's a different design. Wasn't looking for trouble, wasn't trying to be fake, just a soul with the fire and a limited take. Now I'm breaking the cage, I'm tearing it down. Feel the shockwave coming, shaking the ground. Make it, own it, take it until the whole world knows my sound. Snap, crack, ignite. I'm coming through the speakers, taking over the night. Snap, crack, ignite. I'm coming with a new fire, burning ever so bright. Snap, crack, ignite. I'm on every playlist, winning every fight, leaving all the doubt in total devastation. I can feel the change in the air I breathe. I can see a future they can't conceive. It's close enough to taste it now, so far from the person I used to be. What in the world is wrong with them? My mom and dad said I was born to win, so you won't hear no crying, no complaining from me, like on every other channel on the damn TV. So just sit right there, don't you touch that dial. Let me borrow your attention for a little while. I can show you a vision, a truth untold, a story that is finally breaking the mold. Oh yeah, now I'm breaking the cage, I'm tearing it down, feel the shockwave coming, shaking the ground. Make it, own it, take it until the whole world knows my sound. Snap, crack, ignite. I'm coming through the speakers, taking over the night. Snap, crack, ignite. I'm coming with a new fire, burning ever so bright. Snap, crack, ignite. I'm on every playlist, winning every fight, leaving all the doubt in total devastation. Why was I hiding in the back of my mind? Why did I think that I had to be kind? And will I make it to the finish line? Or will I fade away and leave it all be? Snap, crack, ignite. Snap, crack, ignite. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
So here's where we're at for now. Got the two towers in the front, storage in the center that can reach anywhere on these foundations that I've already put down. The forging area is over here, which is going to expand further once we make it further into the game. I built a kitchen and I tried to make it kind of decorated. It looks nice. Plenty of grills to do all of my pre-cooking, and then the cooking range for all the full recipes with the extra bonuses and stuff. Over here is going to be the basic material crafting, and then all the benches and stuff are going to go inside. So the next step is going to be to actually build the house portion of it. So that's about the height that I'm looking for. I'm just going to spread out the floors here, and I'm going to wrap them around this way, and I'll build the walls up. The only thing I have to be considerate of is the type of foundation that we're using only allows for a certain build height, and I don't exactly remember what that is, so I have to be careful with how high I put the roof, or else it won't let me actually complete the roof and there's just going to be a giant hole. So I'm going to start working on the rest of the floor and the floor plan, and then we'll see how much further I need to push this foundation out towards these rocks. Holy shit, Batman, that took a long time. So I played around with kind of the layout here. One of the issues I had was when I adjusted the furnaces earlier, it wasn't really an accident, but I pulled the foundation in by one, so it was, there was four on one side, three on the other, so I just scooted this in. So I had to kind of readjust the furnaces again, but this is what I came up with. I think it looks pretty good, so I'm going to stick with that. Over here, the crafting area, I showed that a little earlier. That hasn't changed. Same with the kitchen area. Now as for the house, I wanted it up on stilts, which proved to be a bit of an issue, but I did figure it out. Um, so like I said earlier, with the foundation type that we're using, we can only build so high. So I did test to see how high I could go, and I had some space left over. But what I didn't consider was, let me just turn on some lights here, rather than sleeping again. What I didn't consider was I didn't put any walls up on the first or second floor. So the game considers that having no support. So when I tried to do the roof, it just considered it unstable. So I wasn't able to close off the roof. So I went down into the basement area, which I didn't plan on putting anything in. And it's just basically a maze of walls to kind of create supports from the foundation. And then I still had the issue. I was like trying to figure out why, and it was simply just because each floor didn't have the supports that the roof needed. So I was able to finish it off. This is just a bunch of doors and stuff like that, and walls that go up. But this is just the attic spaces, and nothing's going to be up here, so I'm actually going to close the roof off if I have the materials. I don't have it on me now. So I'm going to fill this in with both useful things and decoration things just to kind of fill the space, make it look nice. And then the last thing I'll need to do before finishing this is the teleporter. The lodestone's going to need its own area, and I think I'm going to set it off this side over here because there's no space over here with this hill. So I finished out the first floor, made the bedroom in here. As I start to unlock more and more decorations and stuff, this stuff will change, but this is what we have so far. This is just a chest for whatever unique items or whatever that I want to store in it that doesn't necessarily fit the categories in the storage area. Some cape racks, some armor racks, a little study, just some aesthetically pleasing stuff that doesn't really have any function. Over here's the rune crafting room. Where the rune altar is sitting now, it just barely reaches those chests, so I can actually access all of my rune essence here, so I don't have to store it. And then in here, I'll just put all my rune crafting potions. Over here, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'll figure that out as I unlock more stuff. Now, the upstairs is going to be mostly like armory, where I keep all my armor sets and my weapons and some more decorations. Over here, same thing, probably going to be just primarily that kind of decorative stuff where I can store all the stuff that I don't use anymore. There's a deck out here just for, again, just to look nice. It may seem like a lot of wasted space, but I'll be able to utilize it over time. So the next thing will be the lodestone portal platform, and then eventually I'm going to have to build a farm out there, and hopefully that will cut down the spawns on the abyssal demon, because he just keeps spawning. I mean, I've got way too many kills, 40 kills already on him since I've been just building this, and he's just been a complete nuisance. So I'm gonna get started on building this platform here now. Alright, I went with something really basic. I'm not sure if this is gonna stay this way or not. It kind of clashes a little bit. But my brain is completely fried from building this entire compound in one day. So I'm going to leave it as is for today, and then I will kind of brainstorm a little bit on how I can improve at least this section. Next time we're going to be doing the farm and venturing into Fell Hollow and upgrading even further. And this is what I'm talking about with these nuisances. I get so many hostile spawns around here. It drives me insane. But anyway. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see in the future. I spent a lot of time on this, so I really appreciate the support. But with that being said, I'm out of here. Thank you for watching.